Hey, I'm Dan Chmielinski. People like to call me Chimy, and this is my group, 4x4, jazz quartet plus string quartet. I grew up playing classical music, I grew up listening to classical music, and from a very early age I fell in love with the setting of string quartet, writing for string quartet, all the possibilities that you have with just four voices. It's such a rich plethora of possibilities. And I listened to a lot of jazz and string combination records, such as the incredible Bird with strings, Lee Konitz with strings, Clifford Brown with strings. More and more, I've been feeling like the strings have been getting lost in jazz, and when they are present, they're normally doing something very boring. They're either holding a note or, as we say, pads, just kind of just sustaining while more important, interesting stuff is happening on top. And when that's not the case, oftentimes the other members of the ensemble will kind of play over them. And so, with this project, I really wanted to see how far can I push a string quartet. How can I put them in the spotlight? How can I put them with musicians on the stage that are going to be sensitive enough to let them really shine through, and also write music that allows them to shine through? This program features all original compositions that I wrote and arranged for this specific instrumentation, and this unique kind of rich, versatile instrumentation gives me an opportunity to tell some stories that are really important to me. So all of these pieces are about specific people, and people in my life, people that are inspiring, have narratives that I want to convey. And so as a result, I end up with this really personal project that's very personal to me, but also is kind of musical hurdle trying to arrange for this very sensitive instrumentation. So I knew I needed to collaborate with musicians that could handle a string quartet and be sensitive to that string quartet. And so I'm really fortunate to have Julius Rodriguez on piano, who has such a sensitive, delicate touch with the instrument. Bryan Carter on the drums, who's really a master of orchestrating on the kit. Julian Lee, who has one of the most dynamic and versatile voices on the tenor saxophone. And when we're together, it really seems to work. And there were a lot of people that said, that's not going to work. You're not going to be able to have a string quartet on the stage with a jazz quartet. They're going to get lost. They're not going to be able to play swung eighth notes. And I found that none of this is the case, and the product is really something amazing. Music's been a part of my life for as long as I can remember. I started playing the bass at the age of 3, and it was a half-size cello strung with bass guitar strings, which I know is kind of cheating, but it worked. Later on in high school and college, that's when I really kind of started to find my compositional voice. And I would do things like write down different instruments on little slips of paper, put them into a bin, and then pick them out randomly, and whatever came out, that's what I'd try to write for. And something about string quartet always really inspired me. I kept coming back to that sound, the richness of the four voices. And I don't know if it's because I'm a string player myself, if I grew up in an orchestra, but that is really what kind of inspired me the most. I really love playing with this group. We gel well together, and I think one of the main reasons that we gel well together is because we have been friends, all of us, for a while. I've known Bryan since I was in the 6th grade. Julian I've known for a while. The string section, I met them all during my time at Juilliard, and so we would walk the halls together, you know, have lunch together, and so before they even pick up their instruments, there's already a connection. One of the great things about performing regularly in New York is that you get such a wide variety of audience members coming out to your show. I've seen everyone from, you know, kids ages 5 and 6 that love it, you know, the occasional couple that'll come in not knowing what it is, but will you know, fall in love with it and say, wow, I've never seen anything like that before. I remember one time we had a group of violinists from a symphony that was traveling from out of town and playing at Carnegie Hall. And they found a listing for our show, came and checked it out, and afterward came up to me and said, you know, we've never really seen the violin and the viola put in the spotlight in a jazz setting like that before. And I think that's probably the most rewarding part of this for me, is just seeing the reactions that we get and really, you know, seeing how much people respond to this.
Thank you very much. Once again, that's Julian on the tenor saxophone, Mr. Julius Rodriguez on the piano, that's Ravenna Lipchik on the violin, Zeynep Alpan on the violin, Ms. It's Her Birthday Stephanie Block on the viola, Mr. It's His Birthday Mitch Lyon on the cello. That's Bryan Carter on the drums. Bryan Carter. My name is Dan Chmielinski, and you've been listening to 4x4. Don't let anybody tell you that strings can't swing, because they can.